Without further ado, please feel free to take it away, CLA, Jason, and Richard.
Hey y'all, so thanks so much for coming out. Thanks for the introduction. Gonna go ahead and share my screen here. We have two presentations that we'd like to share with you all. So one is like a general, one about CLA, so you all can get an idea of what our firm is like. And then the second one, this presentation is about how to develop skills to apply in the professional world. So we're going to talk a little bit about like hard skills, soft skills, and transferable skills. So hang on. Are you all able to see my screen here?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and start this out. My name is Jason Unger. I work in the Century City office, and I've been at CLA for, next week it's going to be 2 years. So I'm going to be celebrating second anniversary here. I'm a CSUN graduate, and I studied professional accountancy. And I guess something unique about myself was that the dream job as like a child was to be a cashier. Richard?
Interesting. Hi, everyone. My name is Richard Figueroa. I am an associate at the Pasadena office for CLA. I work for the for-profit assurance side. I've been with the firm for 1 year and 10 months. So it's almost 2 years in January. Yeah, I graduated from CSUN as well, 2019, December. So I started right off the bat once graduating. Fun fact about me, or something unique. I enjoy watching anime and reading manga. Yeah.
All right. So we want to encourage as much participation as possible. If you'll have any questions or thoughts, feel welcome to just like drop those in the chat. And then also we're going to have a couple of questions that I'm going to be asking you all during the presentation. So you can feel free to also just drop it in the chat, like your thoughts and so on. All right.
All right.
Take it away, Richard.
Thank you. Yeah, so who is CLA? We are CLA. And we are the 8th largest firm in the United States. There are over thousands of offices and 120 locations like it shows on the map. Pasadena office was the first office in California, and we've slowly been growing, as you can see in the map. And we're worth 1.2 billion in revenue that we've made in the last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the
So
next slide.
y'all can notice that like we have 120 office locations here. And so actually this is even more offices in the US than like any of the big four. The reason for that is just because of like all the acquisitions that we've gone through. And you can notice that like they're kind of like these hubs. So you can notice like we have 6 offices here in Southern California, and then like this area up north, we have 4, and you can kind of see that they're in certain areas, and this is just to help us maximize opportunities for our clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just wanted to add on, there's also you're able to move around as well throughout any of the locations. If you're ever had maybe you don't want to stay in California and you want to go somewhere else, CLA has that opportunity open where you can just communicate your interest and they'll try to help you find a different office as well.
That's right. I want to share with you also, we have something called the CLA Promise, and y'all can read it here. But I want to talk a little bit about each point here. So for example, our purpose, CLA exists to create opportunities. So like, for example, maybe we prepare a business's annual tax return, but we can also provide the opportunity to have them outsource their accounting to us. So maybe this will take a burden off the client because they don't need to hire like an internal bookkeeper, or a county manager. And then our promise is we promise to know you and help you. So this might mean like in your career, like as an employee of CLA, they want to give you work you are interested in and that feels really meaningful to you. And so our family culture, this is the kind of like big firm, small office feel, you know, like most of our offices have joined through acquisitions. And so I think that in general, like the culture is able to be preserved. And so, for example, I mean, we're an office of 120 people and still like you know, as I'm walking around the office, I know everyone's name. We all greet each other good morning and have our coffee chats and so on. And the last point is our strategic advantages. It's deep industry specialization, seamless integrated capabilities, premier resource for private business and owners, and inspired careers. So as an example, if I have a question relating to like a state and local issue when I'm preparing a tax return, I can email a special team for help. And the idea of the inspired career, this relates again to the idea that you at CLA, you're building your own career and you get to express the type of work that you're most interested in. Maybe, for example, maybe I prepare like quite a few individual and trust tax returns, but like I can always say like in the future, oh, well, I also want to help out with like the tax exempt returns and I want to delve in a little bit deeper. And so here you see like, these are our CLA values: curious, collaborative, transparent, inclusive, and reliable here at the bottom. But if you all don't mind, I'm curious if there are any qualities maybe not listed here you would value at the firm you work at after you graduate. Maybe you all can just like type it in the chat. And actually, because I'm presenting, I don't know how I can't, Richard, if you can help me out, can you help me read from the chat? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I'll check. See if anyone writes. Diversity.
Diversity, that's a good one. We're going to talk about that one too.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's one of the CLA promises as well. We can go to the next slide and discuss that.
Yeah.
So one of our, you know, we have diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a big motivation that we have at CLA. We have DEI ambassadors at every office where they come together and discuss any, you know, current events or situations that can affect our, you know, us. You know, in the past few years, there have been different life-changing events that have occurred to all people, and CLA has come forth and brought that situation and had like groups of people to come together to discuss it and how our firm should, you know, talk about it. Jen Leary, our CEO, made an action pledge that CLA would be one of 2,000 organizations nationwide to commit on supporting inclusive workplace for employees, communities, and also other, you know, society at large. And there's also opportunities where we can give back to the community. There are, you know, we have hours dedicated that we get paid for to do community service, to go out and help. Just anything, like we've been able to volunteer, go to shelters, give food, you know, clean up the beaches. I know those are some things that clubs are doing as well. So it's great to see that CLA is a place where we can do that as well, like just give back to the community. And I think, Jason, you've been an ambassador for DEI as well, correct?
That's right. So like mostly like I'm participating. Well, I joined two. So one of them was like the Latinx community, and the other one was like the disabilities community. And so, for example, like most recently, like in the in the Latinx community, we had we were discussing advancements. So this in November is when CLA usually does like their advancements. One is promoted, from associate to senior to manager, and so on. And so one of the conversations was a lot of people were advanced, and they were like, oh, well, me telling my parents, who are coming from like different from Latinx backgrounds, they don't quite understand, oh, like how meaningful this is, or like, oh, like I just passed. Not myself, but I mean, for example, another member had said like, oh, I had passed my exams, and then I told my parents, but they weren't quite able to fathom like how exciting it was. So this is just, something from our most recent meeting that I can share with y'all.
Yeah, that's true. There's multiple inclusivity groups. I would say, you don't have to be like, just because I'm not, or I am Latinx, but if I wasn't, doesn't mean I'm not allowed to be part of the group. It's a supportive group. There's many groups within the CLA branch, and it's a great way of networking because you're connecting not just to your own office, but to the all offices of CLA. So you're able to interact with everyone around.
Right, exactly. All right, so next slide. Every day, our clients create new jobs, new wealth, and new opportunities. So CLA places our clients at the core of our strategic focus because enabling their success means a better world for all of us. And so this table kind of just shows like a makeup of our clients. So we're serving, for example, over 110,000 private households, over 69,000 private businesses, and we have a total of over 200,000 clients. And again, like, I mean, CLA is like the 8th largest firm. Like we're the big firm, small office feel again. And you can see that by just the number of clients we have.
Yeah, and also, we're growing. There are multiple, in just 2021, we've grown so much that we've acquired other small firms and just keep growing. There's also opportunities of more growth in the future. Another thing that's great about CLA is that we focus more on the middle market. So we're branching out on not just, public businesses are more big four, while we're trying to capture the, where it's still private, where they don't have to just,
Middle market.
they're not publicly traded. They're all, private companies, and that's what we're mainly focused, and we just keep growing, and that's why we are number 8.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight also, like, so in 2020 we added over 1,800 family members to our team, and so as an example, so I'm working here in Century City. We added, we're on the 16th floor, but on the 3rd floor of our building there was a small tax firm of about 20 people, and they came up and joined us back last year. So we're always growing, and we even had to they had to change the layout a bit of the office, and there was quite a bit of construction at that time, just had like the desk space and so on to accommodate all these people. So yeah, I guess, well, I can also ask, like, so in terms of mobility, since CLA is like really focused on like also having some flexibility, do any of you see yourselves working in LA or staying in California for now, but maybe moving somewhere else in the future? And if so, where would that place be? And why do you have plans to take your career to that place? If y'all can just comment in the chat. And Richard, if you can help me monitor, please.
Ruben says Spain. Wow.
Not at CLA.
Prefer to stay in California. Nice. New York. LA's home. Majority of people says LA's
LA,
life.
yeah.
Stay in LA. That's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of CLA offices here in LA, so it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, just like 6 in SoCal. So anyway, y'all can move around as you need through SoCal at least.
New York.
All right, so this slide, it's about how we create opportunities in our communities. And so, for example, something kind of unique about CLA is we have our own private foundation, and it's called the CLA Foundation. So the unique thing is that actually it's fully funded by CLA employees. So for example, just as like one would make like a 401k like contribution from their paycheck, similarly, like you can elect to have like a certain amount contributed from your paycheck to the CLA Foundation. And then we have, let me see what the slide says. So it says we have 124 family members that are reviewing the grant. So that's another kind of unique thing about the firm, because it's CLA employees that are deciding which organizations the foundation is going to be donating to at the end. And I think I saw 82 organizations received funds from our CLA Foundation. And in 2020, that totaled 1.1, that was $1.1 million total. So again, this was all just through like CLA employees. All right, going to the next slide.
And then this is Inspired Careers in CLA. You know, it's choices, experience, and strength and inspiration. Something unique with CLA is that just because you're working one thing doesn't mean you're only going to be doing that, or it doesn't mean that you can only do that. For example, like I work for the for-profit team, so it's manufacturing distribution, but there was opportunity for me where I can, you know, work on non-for-profit, work on schools, on churches, there was also a time where I worked on an audit for agriculture and farms. Very strange, very complex. But you know, the great thing is that, you know, you can voice what you want to experience, and your leaders will give you that opportunity. There's no limit on, you can only do this, don't ask. This is what you're doing. Like if you're in tax, you can ask to do audit. If you're in audit, you can ask to do tax if you're interested. We also, a unique thing about CLA is that we have the biz ops team. So that's like, you know, bookkeeping, being a CFO if you want to, for a small business that we help. There are a lot of opportunities here, and you're not limited just to the whole tax or audit, and you could get to experience a lot.
That's right. I was just going to give an example. So like in my inspired career, I decided I was really interested in learning about like our business management. We call it biz ops group. So usually, so I'm in tax, but after like I'm mostly focused on like October 15th deadline. So after this deadline, for example, I have 14 professional services clients, and I'm doing their bookkeeping. And so, you know, then when it's tax season, I'm doing their tax returns. So it's truly like the full circle kind of experience. And then even apart from that, I'm also, you know, participating as like a DI ambassador. And then Richard and I are also participating a bit like in like the CSUN events and recruitment and talking to you all. So yeah, Richard, was there, I'm just curious if there's anything like that you have discussed me with your coach about like your inspired career.
Well, you know, with the coaches, like that's another thing that we have at CLA, and I think many firms do too. You know, you're able to have a coach that you get to choose and just discuss your future plans or like what you want to do. For me, I spoke with my coach that I want to focus more on manufacturing and distribution. That those were the audits that I did a lot, and like I just got interested in it, and just, you know, you're able to discuss with them like, hey, I want to do this. Is there any ways? And then there's multiple opportunities. You know, you could shadow a partner, you could shadow a director on like the specific audits that you want to work in or the specific industry. And then you know, like I said before, not only are you could try tax, but there are opportunities where you could just switch entirely to tax as well. You could switch entirely to audit. You just have to voice that interest.
That's right. All right, y'all. So next slide here. So at CLA, you have numerous choices like service capability, career path, industry, and ways to get involved. To provide a number of opportunities for our family members to build their experiences and move toward their inspired career. So we want you to choose a career path that's flexible, mobile, and unique to you. We believe this will empower you to customize your career at your own pace. There's no right or wrong path, it's your choice. So with that said, maybe maybe you all have noticed like CLA oftentimes uses a bicycle to kind of represent, I guess, as like a logo or like something to kind of represent the firm. I'm curious, do you all like have any idea why that might be? And I'm wondering if you all can guess what you think the bicycle is supposed to symbolize. If you all can just type it in the chat or unmute yourselves or whatever.
I'll be reading the chat in case they
Yeah,
write it.
thank you, sir.
Progression,
Progression, very
that's
good,
one. Opportunities.
very good.
So we have so far, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I think like the person who said progression probably like hit the nail on the head. So at CLA, I mean, this is just from our website, y'all, okay? So at CLA, a bike is so much more than a bike. It's a symbol for moving forward. It represents the rhythm, results, speed, and relationships that you experience when you work with CLA. So whether you're going around the block, around the world, we provide the support you need to move forward. So it's all about moving forward. All right, next slide. Okay, our message to the CLA family is simple: your career, your choice. All right.
Yeah, and like there was one last comment, I just lost it, but it said freedom. And you know,
Freedom.
that's really true. This is like just like in the last slide showing the career paths. We have basic, you know, intern, associate, senior, but once you hit senior, there's different opportunities. There's director, manager, and alumni. The director path is more of retaining the clients that we have, and you become a signing director. More, you gain more responsibilities, but you're not going out there looking for clients. That's where the manager and principal path is. You know, you're trying to get more clients, get new. While signing directors, you're retaining and just keeping the clients happy. And then the interesting part with CLA is that there's an alumni path. The alumni path is when you're able to let CLA know, like, hey, you know, I'm interested in doing this. I'm interested, let's say I'm interested in entertainment, and I plan in the next year or so to get a job, let's say at Warner Brothers. With that situation, or something smaller, a smaller private, like A24 or something like that, smaller than that. Well, you could discuss with CLA, like, hey, this is what I want to do, and then they'll shift your work and the experiences that you'll be gaining to that specific industry. So if I chose, I want to work at a non-for-profit, I want to work at a school, they'll shift my work and help me work with my team and transition to a non-for-profit team. I can discuss with them like, hey, this is my goal. And it's one of those things where you're able to just say like, hey, I'm going to leave soon. Can you help me with it? And we gladly will do that, which is, it's one of those things, it's very strange. And I think that's where the bike comes in. It's you do have that freedom to choose where or when to go. And it's, you know, just keeping that connection with CLA. And you know, you can even see the arrows within the slide. It's not just going in, you can come back too. So it's not where you leave and that's it. You can come back. It's great. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, Jason, or not.
Nothing else for me to add to that. I think you hit the nail on the head, Richard. So one of the last points we have here is just like about the CPA exam. So basically, I mean, we offer like all the study materials and all that one would need to study and prepare for the CPA exam. And I guess the unique thing about the firm is that they do the pre-exam bonus rather than like an ad hoc, like, oh, I spent $1,000, please reimburse me for $1,000. No, like when you're starting, you get this, as long as you submit a notice to sit for the exam, they give you this bonus with one of your paychecks, and it's $2,250. So you're getting this bonus to help you cover the expenses of the exam. It's one time. And then after you pass all your exams, you're getting a $2,000 bonus if it's within your employment at CLA, and it's a $3,000 bonus if it's within your first year. And then like CLA will cover also like your license renewal fees, AICPA application, and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the interesting parts is the 2,000 on passing. There's no expiration date to that. It's just
Right.
whenever you pass it.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all, next slide.
So it's just here's just a breakdown of our clients and industries that we have, you know, manufacturing, real estate, private equity, federal government, healthcare. We serve over 80 industries within our firm and in all various locations.
Would y'all just mind like typing in the chat, maybe if there's like any industries you see here or maybe not listed here that you're really interested in?
Let me look at that too. Media and entertainment.
That's a good one.
I think I've looked into that. There's actually, we've done a review on a private like entertainment company, but I think it's the Texas office that did it. So there are opportunities for that. It's probably something that we're growing and hasn't been like fully, you know, grown like these other ones, like manufacturing
And that's so
and
funny because
construction.
actually like a lot of the returns I work on are in entertainment. We have a principal and like most of our clients are in entertainment. So I don't know, at least at our office here in Century City, for tax at least, there's opportunities to work in entertainment.
Nice. Finance.
Finance, nice.
We can open it up for questions or
Yeah,
anything anyone wants to ask while we're here. We said to use the hand raising feature, or if you want to type it out as well, that works.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm curious about like the work-life balance you guys have in CLA, like elaborate on that.
In what sense of work life?
Like, like during busy season, is there like a cap on how much hours that you can work each week? Because, like one of the main concerns I have is like being burnt out from like working too much, like 80 hours a week or 70 hours a week. And I was just wondering, like, have you guys underwent through that, or is there like a cap for that?
For me, in the nearly 2 years, I've never hit 80 hours. So as an associate, maybe, the longer you go and the more responsibilities you get, there are potential of times where, there's crunch where the clients are due that you have to work longer hours. But I think on average, it's really, CLA has this, and, depending on your team as well, they know how much you can do. And based on your experiences, they'll assign you work. So maybe probably in the first few years, it wouldn't be that much, but I believe CLA does 55 hours during busy season. And then when you're not busy, it's just 40.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Welcome. Tips on passing the CPA exams, methods or studying. Of studying. Still trying to figure that out too, It's hard. Just finding time, if you're able to start early and I think it all depends on how you're studying now with your classes. That might be a way of translating that kind of study method into your CPA. Study methods might help, one, for me, I'm a visual learner, so I do like hearing the videos and also reading the material and just taking notes. That's one of the recommendations they do. Do the multiple choice every day, simulations every day. You get like, it might be repetitive, but then you'll start remembering and learning key items to questions, and then that could help.
Truthfully, like in my opinion, and I think that this is exactly what they don't recommend you do, but for example, in my first year, I just keep reflecting, like, there's no way I mean, I even had like the technical knowledge to pass anything. Like, I don't think I could have done it. And like this year, now that I'm more familiar with like CLA processes and procedures, and I'm a little bit more, from a technical standpoint, I know more than I did last year. Like, that's helped a lot with the studying, and actually, like, I don't know, I think I found a lot more of a rhythm now that I'm more experienced. So actually, maybe it's not good advice, but I would say, like, you can, I mean, if you have the discipline, give yourself some time to soak in, like, to learn as much as you can at work, and that'll help you quite a bit with the exams, in my opinion. And that's helped me study and then be able to apply what I'm studying to the work that I'm doing.
Brett, you have your hand raised.
Hi there. So I'm looking at the slide right now, and there's the word of learning. Can you guys elaborate on what you mean by learning? Like learning by experience, learning by like reading. Like, I was hoping to elaborate more on that.
Learning. Jason, do you have?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
Certainly. Hi, Brett. First of all, congrats on your offer. So learning. I would say yes, on the individual jobs you're going to be having, you're going to be learning a ton. Truly, the partners and managers you're working with are some of the best in the business, some of the most knowledgeable people. So you're just going to be learning a lot, even just by listening to them think out loud and so on. But the other thing is, like, I mean, for example, while I'm in tax, so the month of January is all about learning about tax changes that we're going to be applying to like that year's tax returns. And then also procedural items for CLA that we need to know when preparing our returns. And then I think apart from that, like during the tax season, we're also having like many updates and training. So I think at any given time, they're kind of holding your hand and always teaching you something new through the many trainings we have. And then I guess something we didn't get to talk about, Richard, is also like the LEAP training that we had,
yeah,
right?
I
That's
was just
so
thinking
fun.
about it. Yeah. So
So
they're you know, like you're not going into the job and they're just giving you the work. You know, there's training, there's all, and for CLA, there's a thing called LEAP, and that's when they first month, 2 weeks to a month, you're training, learning about the programs that CLA uses. If you're an auditor tax, I think you learn both in the beginning, just to get like a feel for both programs. We also have something called like LC Vista, and that's where there's a lot of opportunities to learn. We have the LinkedIn learning there. So during the time when you're not busy, you have these opportunities to learn more of not only accounting, but you know, whatever you'd like. I've seen videos where it's about how to draw, how to, there's items where if you have time and you've done your work, there's multiple opportunities to learn and grow as a person.
All right, thank you. By the way, thanks, Jason, for that.
All right. Should we go to the other one then? I don't know if there's any other questions. Let me check before I say that. Chat. Oh, we do have one more. Did you say the bonus passing CPA doesn't expire? Like the idea of following? Yes. So for the bonus for CPA, you can apply for the pre-bonus. So that's to pay all the fees. The CPA costs a lot just to take the exam, and you'll learn that when you get there. So the pre-bonus will pay for all those fees. Additionally, the bonus for 2,000 after you pass, there is no time limit to that. It's whenever you pass it. So I hope that answers
Yeah,
your question, Nicole.
just it's $3,000 rather than 2,000 if you pass within your first year. So
Right.
extra $1,000.
All right, perfect.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and there's no more questions. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here and move on to the next presentation that we have for you all.
Make sure I don't delete the chat. Have it here. So I have another screen here, and that's where the chat is. So I'm looking this way.
So crazy, so many screens, huh? All right. All right, are you all able to see this? How to develop skills to apply in the professional world?
Yep.
All right, take it away, Richard.
Yeah, so one of the things that we were discussing that not only works with CPA, but just your work and professional skills in general is taking notes. Something you'll learn, I think it's just recommended everywhere. When you're discussing with a partner, a principal, a senior, or an experienced associate, always take notes. There are questions that may come up regularly on different clients. And I think that's one of the things that we should learn in college as well, is just take notes on everything, so that if it ever comes up again, you'll know the answer. Because there's times where eventually you'll be the experienced associate and people will come up to you and ask you questions. And the same thing in college, you're gonna have taken this class and there are gonna be students that have transferred in or are just starting and wanna, what's your experience with 350? What's your experience with 351? And with your notes, it's a great way of giving back and just retaining for yourself as well. Keeping a calendar, there are moments where many events that come up, there are many clients that are due at around the same time. So you have to balance your work and kind of schedule it out. And just keeping your place organized is another one. Everything neat and knowing where everything is very important. It gives you that professional feel. You're able to just, okay, I know where this is, not just because there are times where you have paperwork that are physically there from your clients, or it's online and you put it in multiple folders. Being organized on where everything is very important. It saves time as well. For the next slide, communication, another thing, not just communicating, I think is very important now more than ever, since everything is more remote, everything is on camera. So body language is important. When if you were able to have meet the firms in person, the way you're standing, the way you're positioned, they always talk about that. And even now in camera, it's more important now more than ever, even though it's just top half. But another thing, being an active listener, just being able to pay attention, knowing what people are saying, and just asking questions based on their answers as well. From when you ask a question when you're taking notes, that it plays a role, I guess, just in your career as well. Just being able to know that you're not just hearing what they're saying, that you understand it and speaking clearly. And if there's anything that confuses, there are times where I stumble on my words when I'm talking to my senior, and I'm just like, wait, let me just do this again. Or when I'm typing it out, I do run on sentences and I'm like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Let me edit that. Like, sorry about that. Just, being able to improve on how you're communicating with others is very important, in not just your college career, but in your professional career. Because, in our line of work, we're always communicating with either the client or with our team. And then next slide. Same thing with building relationships, mentorship, following up, and attending events. Jason and I are attending this event, recruiting, speaking with students. There are times where at CLA, there are specific events as well within the firm where we're able to interact with other locations. And that's just a great opportunity of growth. mentorship, you know, in these events, you're able to meet who can be your coach. Same thing here. You might have a connection with, you know, me and Jason, and when we give our emails, you want to reach out and discuss the future of your career. Just reaching out, building that mentorship, and following up. You know, when you send an email, and I think this is something discussed at Meet the Friends as well, speak to a professional, send an email, but don't let that one email be the only email you send. Follow up, leave an email with an open-ended question so that there's a conversation. And, you know, to have those conversations, back at again, join all the events. There are AA events, there are BAP events, there are CSUN Alpha, there's MISA, other clubs. Join as much events that you can that you know, that's possible within your, you know, time. I know it's not realistic to join everything, but branch out and experience and just get to know and network more with not only students, but with professionals, because although right now everyone's a student, eventually there'll be your network of professionals as well.
Yeah. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about hard skills with you all. And so this is just from Google, but it says, so hard skills are learned abilities acquired and enhanced through practice, repetition, and education. And so, for example, Richard and I attended like Meet the Firms this past semester. And so at least for me, like one of the questions he'll ask is like, oh, well, how can I prepare for like, you know, my internship, or I'm gonna serve full time? Like, what do you think are some skills that would be helpful? And so I think like some hard skills you all can, you know, develop and get better at while you're still students. There's three that I have here. I think that some of you, maybe you haven't had like the internship where you learn how to do bookkeeping, but actually this is a skill that you can teach yourself, I think. And so there's this free website. It's called Wave Accounting. And so for example, I use this to tell myself budget, and I take like my own bank statements and I'll just record it here. And it's been helpful for now that I'm doing bookkeeping for 14 professional services clients. It's me having the personal example has helped me apply it to work as well. So I think if you all are curious, this could be a nice website for you all to check out and apply, and it'll help you budget a ton, see where you're spending your money and so on. And there's also like the famous QuickBooks. VITA, I think that now it might be a little bit different because it's virtual from what I understand. But this is a wonderful way if you're interested in tax, and even if you're not, just to gain like some client experiences. And you know, sometimes you might have like the difficult client that says, well, why do I have to pay like this amount of money, you know? And then also VITA is wonderful to help you develop your technical knowledge if you are interested in tax. And then there's also Excel, and I just here on the slide I wrote like 4 YouTube channels that I think are pretty good, like Excel tutorials, and they just teach you some formulas, tips, tricks, things like that. So it's Mr. Excel. Excel is fun. I don't know if it's Shendu, and Excel for freelancers. But I will, disclaimer is that at CLA in tax on my team, I don't use any particularly complex formulas when I use Excel. If you know the sum formula, at least for me, I've been able to get by with that. So I think these are three opportunities that you all can seize before like you start your next role.
Yeah, I just want to add to the Excel. All the shortcuts, if you can learn that ahead of time, it really does help. In the audit side and my team, we use Excel a lot. Shortcuts, there are times where the client might send us a really quote unquote dirty Excel file where it's just not organized, and we have to organize it ourselves so that we can make selections, that we can process it. So learning how to use the keyboard only to organize things. You know, we also have applications built in within the Excel that we use as well. But if you're able to just, you know, Control W, FF to freeze a frame, if you're able to do Alt equals is auto sum everything in a line, like, you know, Control C, Control P, classic copy paste. It comes up, and if you're able to do it and you have time to just learn something, I think Excel is something that you'll use anywhere you go, and there's multiple opportunities to use it within not just our career.
That's right. I think, well, actually, I was gonna say, I think like probably you all use on your team like Excel really heavy, huh, Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exclusively almost Excel. I know tax is very different.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm probably like the least Excel savvy person on this call. So anyway, okay, transferable skills. So this is also like the Google definition, but it just has like the abilities you can transfer from one job to another. And so like as an example, like I was working at the mall before I worked at CLA. So I mean, even with that, like customer service, you have clients who are calling you and they say, well, why do I owe so much money? Like I got this notice, what do I do? If you all know like different languages, I can give the example. We have at least a few clients that they have like foreign filing requirements, and so if usually like these returns, maybe they file like a tax return in another country or something. Usually these are assigned to someone who can speak the language, someone, you know, who maybe it's Spanish or something. Yeah, by default, it goes to that person who can speak the language. The ability to conduct research, as you all are probably very good at, is CSUN students. That's very much transferable if you don't know how to apply some accounting concept in your work, or if you're curious about some new law. The ability to not just Google things, but also use the kind of research platforms that we have available. I don't know why it's not coming to mind. Checkpoint, right, Richard? Checkpoint? Do you use that at all?
I've
Okay.
used it somewhat, but it doesn't come up often for us. I know the seniors on my team use it more when it comes to the high end. If the client asks any questions specifically relating to GAAP, they'll use Checkpoint.
All right. All right. So, well, I mean, here and there it'll come up, but I mean, as CSUN students, I mean, it's something like so transferable, like your ability to conduct research, very much transferable to like working anywhere really. And then the ability to be dependable, dependability, I think is also a very transferable skill. So gonna move on here. And if y'all are interested, we still do have some open requisitions. We did, I know that offers have been communicated already for internship and associate positions. But with that said, there's still a couple positions open. So we have 6 SoCal locations here, and I just went ahead and listed what's still open. So internships for summer 2022 in the Pasadena office are still available, and associate positions in Century City are still available for summer 2022. If y'all are interested, no need to apply through Handshake. You can just go through to our external CLA website and feel welcome to just apply. And feel welcome to just also like email Richard or myself if you have applied, just to let us know. And I went ahead and listed our emails here if y'all are interested in connecting, and then we also have our social media and so on. And if y'all have any questions, please let us know. Please unmute yourself or just drop it in the chat, raise your hand.
This is your time now.
Yeah, this is your time.
I guess one question I have is that I was wondering, like, which soft or hard skills have you developed the most during your time at CLA?
For me, I guess this would be under communication, but managing your managers is a big one. Learning how to defend your work and saying like, you know, if somebody asks you, well, why'd you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, that you're able to defend yourself and say, no, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense for this reason. But in a professional way, I think is, for me, that's been huge because I'm not usually one to talk back, but anyway, sometimes you have to manage the people you work with.
Yeah, I think for me, it's time management and just communication. During the busy season, there are times where you have multiple clients, multiple work, just communicating with your team, the realistic goals of what you can accomplish in a day or in a week. You know, if you're gonna say, I can do this by Friday, do it by Friday. But if you're saying like, hey, this is taking more time, I can give it to you by Tuesday of next week, the team and just, you know, as long as you're communicating, and I think that that's where it comes with time management. If you can realistically put a goal of when something can be finished by, you'll never have issues. Obviously, there'll be review notes, there are comments, that comes up later, but just when you put a goal down, make sure that you stick to the goal. I think that's one of the things that I've grown, and just I'm a very shy and reserved person at times, but when I get to know people, I open up. So getting to new, you know, it's a new team for me. I did an intern here at CLA, so it's all new to me, and just slowly but surely being confident discussing with the team. If I have any questions, that's one of the things where a key thing is just whenever you don't understand anything, just ask. If something doesn't like, if you don't understand why this was done last year, or why what I did now is wrong, just get an explanation, just being able to discuss. Hope that helps.
Awesome, thank you.
Anybody else? You can put in the chat too if you don't want to speak up.
I think,
It's all
Brett, do you
good.
still have your hand up?
No, I think it's been up.
Okay, Sarah?
Sorry. Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to ask and make sure. So if I want to apply for an associate position, I should not do so through Handshake. I should do it through your website.
Well, if it's on Handshake, just that there's not a need to do it. We're really only reviewing like the external, like what you do through the CLA website. So you can just skip Handshake.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions?
Any comments?
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for your time. Richard and I are very, very appreciative.
Yes, thank you guys for coming, taking time. I know it's lunchtime. Maybe you're eating a
No.
sandwich. That's why people have their cameras off. Understandable. Don't worry.
Very much.
All right, thank you, Jason and Richard, for your great presentation.